What is going on, all you beautiful people? Today, we are going to do a head-to-head comparison of Thor nodes versus Strong nodes. These have been two of the most popular node projects over the last few months, and I'm invested in both of them, so I figured it'd be a good idea to stand them up head-to-head and figure out if I should be investing in one over the other in the long term. In this video, we're going to look at the ROI on Strong's Ethereum node versus Thor's Thor node. We're going to compare the teams. We're going to compare their roadmaps and their communication. And we're also going to talk about my strategy moving forward. If you're new here, my name is Jason, and I'm on a mission to build $5,000 in monthly passive income a month over the course of 5 months. I'm a month and a half into my journey, and I have 3.5 months left to get there. If you get just a little bit of value out of this video, please hit that like button. Not only does it do wonders for the YouTube algorithm, but it really helps other people find this video so they can learn a lot of things that we're talking about together. And if you like the way I break things down, or you're interested in figuring out if I'm gonna hit my goal, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's get into the head-to-head comparison. We're going to hop into a spreadsheet to look at these things side by side. Don't worry, the spreadsheet is linked in the description below in case you wanna look at this breakdown yourself, or you wanna copy the sheet so you have your own. And the reason that we're looking at the Thor node instead of the other nodes that Thor provides is because it's the closest ROI to the Strong Ethereum node. And the reason that we're not looking at the Strong Polygon node is because they haven't revealed the taper schedule yet, so we don't really know what that reward balance is going to be over time. All right, you like spreadsheets? I like spreadsheets. I was an accountant, so I kind of have to like spreadsheets. Let's jump into it. So we have our Thor node up top, and we have our Strong node down here. First, let's look at the cost of tokens to get involved. It's 12.5 Thor, and it's 10 Strong. And the rewards for Thor is 1.44 per day, and Strong is 0.92 per day. So you can already see the reward system for Thor is a little bit better. And the daily rewards for Thor is 1.44 per day, and that's a daily ROI of 1.15% on your Thor token investment. And on Strong, you get 0.092 per day, and that's a 0.92% daily ROI on your Strong investment. So you can see already that Thor has a bit more of an aggressive reward schedule. Now there's questions about which is more sustainable, but that's just what we have right now. Now, from a price standpoint, we decided to look at the last 21-day moving average. We're also going to look at the last 9-day moving average as well, but we figured it's better to look at a blended average over time than just look at the current price as of today, which is end of day, February 19th. So the last 21-day moving average price for Thor is $98, and Strong, it's $386. So when you multiply your 12.5 Thor by the last 21-day moving average of 98, your cost to invest in one Thor node is a little more than $1,200. And we do the same calculation over here, your 386 multiplied by your 10 Strong to get invested, your total investment is $38.60. Now, if you were just to hold on to your tokens that you were rewarded over the course of 1 year and then sell them at the end of the year, let's see what that looks like. After 1 year, if you sold all of your Thor rewards that you had and they still sold around the 21-day moving average, you would have $5,100. And that would be a profit of $3,900. On Strong, you'd have $13,000, and that would be a profit of $9,100. But this is where things get a little bit different. Remember, you only invested $1,200 in order to get your $3,900 profit. So that's an ROI of 320%. Whereas on Strong, you had to invest $38.60 to get your $9,100. And that profit is a 240% ROI after 1 year. So in this example, Thor seems to have an advantage. The other thing that you could do is you could invest in 3 Thor from the start. And that would cost you similar to what it would cost to invest in 1 Strong node. So then you would just multiply your profits here by 3, and your profits would be at almost $12,000, which would be almost $3,000 more than your profits on Strong. Also, before I forget, in case you want to look at the schedule for the other Thor nodes, we have them here. Just expand right over here. We went through that entire calculation without considering compounding. In both of these projects, you can collect your rewards and turn those rewards into new nodes. So let's take a look at what life would look like if you were to turn all of your rewards into new nodes over time. To figure this out, we built out compounding schedules down below. Here's our Strong compounding schedule and our Thor compounding schedule. Again, the other Thor nodes can be found over here in case you need them. But if we take a look at Strong, you'd start off with 1 node and your daily rewards are 0.09. So after about 109, 110 days, you would have enough Strong to buy your second node. You have your second node, and now all of a sudden you're receiving 0.18 rewards per day. And it's going to take you 54 days until you're ready to buy your third node. And so we go through this schedule, and after 1 full year, you'll have 15 nodes, and you'll have invested 150 Strong along the way. And at the end of 1 year, you'll have 15 nodes. You'll be receiving 1.38 Strong per day in rewards, and your total investment will have cost you 150 Strong. On the Thor side, you start with your first node and you receive 0.14 daily rewards of Thor per day. It's going to take you about 87 days until you have enough Thor so you can buy your next node. Then you have 2 nodes, and all of a sudden you're at 0.29 daily rewards, and it'll take another 43 days until you can buy your next node. And we go through this all the way down to the end of the year, and by the end of the year, you'll have 37 nodes. And that is the value of compounding when you have a bit more of an aggressive reward schedule. So you have 37 nodes, you'll be receiving 5.33 Thor per day at the end of 1 year. And you'll have invested 463 Thor throughout the course of 1 year. So here's the cost of our investment in both projects after 1 year after compounding. 463 Thor and 150 strong. Now remember, when you make your investment into these projects, you do not receive that back. When you sell everything, it's not like you get your original 150 back or your 463 back. So you've gone this entire first year and you haven't received any cash flow yet. You've taken it and you put it right back into the project. We'll see how this plays out a bit later on. It's important to talk about that because everyone that's involved in these projects is continually talking about the compounding effect and how awesome it can be. And they're right, it's great. Obviously, we've seen that you can really build up a ton of nodes and a lot of daily rewards over time. However, every time you do that, you're adding more risk to your investment and more reliance on your return of investment on the price of the underlying token. So it's just important to call that risk out because it can be very real, especially like we've seen in crypto. I mean, things change all the time. But you know what might not change is how much you like this video. So go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're interested, subscribe to the channel. All right, let's translate this 1 year of compounding investment into dollars. On Thor, that would be about $45,000. And on Strong, that'd be about $58,000. And again, we've seen the total nodes that we have at the end of 1 year and our total rewards after 1 year. The daily value of each of those rewards is about $500 per day in Thor and about $533 per Strong. So now if we think through the example of just hodling those rewards in year 2 for an entire year and then cashing them out at the end of the year, after we take out our initial investment of $45,000, we'd have a profit of $137,000 in Thor. And on Strong, we'd have almost the exact same amount, funny enough, about $136,000 and change. So here you can see the main difference is coming from the stronger reward setup on Thor. Again, that may not be as sustainable as things are on Strong, so it's one other thing to consider when you're making an investment like this. All right, I think it's important to look at the last 9-day moving average as well, just so we can get something that's a little bit closer to the current price as of February 19th. So let's take a quick look at that. Quick freeze frame here. I botched the original recording of the prices here. The last 9 moving day average price for Thor was $70, and for Strong, that was $386. That's something really important to note. Even though both these projects and their tokens have been decreasing in price over the last couple of weeks, Strong has a bit less volatility, and it's most likely because it has a much larger market cap and has been around a while longer. The last 9-day moving average is very similar on Strong to what it is to the last 21-day moving average, even though it's been going down most of that time. So where this plays out is your investment cost is now less than $1,000, only $875 to buy your first Thor node. And for Strong, it's again about the same price. The value of your rewards, if you held on to them and only sold them after 1 year, on Thor, that's $3,700. And after you back out your $875, you're left with a profit of $2,800. And again, your profit equals an ROI of about 320%. On Strong, again, you're left with a similar profit after 1 year, $9,100. And that's a 240% ROI without compounding. And just so you know, I rounded a bunch of these numbers just to make it easier. So don't come at me for the decimals being wrong or things being slightly off. Again, Thor has the advantage on ROI because the investment cost is much lower and your profit is the same. However, your total profit on one node is only $2,800 compared to your $9,100. Again, because the price is so low for Thor right now, you could actually afford to invest in 4 Thor nodes and still be the same upfront investment cost that would be for Strong. And so you can multiply this by 4 and all of a sudden you're looking at a $11,200 profit, which obviously is more than you would get on Strong. Let's look at the compounding example. The amount of tokens we compound over the course of 1 year is exactly the same as our first example. Now remember, our investment cost for Strong is about the same as it was in the first example, so it's right around that $57,000, $58,000 mark. For Thor, however, the 9-day moving average is significantly lower. So your upfront cost over the course of 1 year after compounding is only going to be $32,000. Now we have the same total nodes after compounding for a year, and we're going to be receiving the same daily rewards after 1 year. But the value of the rewards are different. Remember, in the last example, this was worth about $500 per day. In this example, it's only worth about $400 a day because this price of Thor is lower. Whereas Strong is actually the exact same daily rewards value. So now in our second year, we hold on to all of our rewards and we cash them out all at once at the end of year 2. And once you back out your original investment here, you're left with profits of $113,000 on Thor and $136,000 again on Strong. So it may seem that Strong is going to win this battle. However, remember we said that we could multiply our Thor investment by 4. So this theoretically could be 4x this amount, which would be a really compelling case to invest in Thor. However, the comparison is more than just price alone. And like we said, Strong is more stable. And while Thor is $70 today, who knows? It could drop precipitously more than Strong over the coming months, and then you're left with a really tough question on whether or not Thor's actually going to make it. So who wins the ROI battle? If you're a higher risk investor, then Thor is probably the option for you. You have more price volatility, but you have a better reward structure. And if you're a lower risk investor, which this is all relative since we're investing in crypto nodes anyways, making us all high risk investors. But if you're the lower end of the high risk investors, then Strong Nodes might be the one for you. It has a higher market cap and longer history, so it's probably gonna be less volatile than Thor. But the reward structure isn't as strong, so your ROI is definitely gonna be less. But again, that ROI may be more sustainable, and some ROI is better than no ROI. Hey, now that we're about halfway through this video, just make sure to leave a comment below and let me know whether you're thinking Strong or Thor. Also, let me know if you like what I'm doing. If you do, that's great. I love that positive feedback. But if you think I suck or there's things I'm doing wrong, let me know that as well. It is with your feedback that I'm getting better with each and every video. All right, let's get back to it. Let's talk about the teams. The first green flag here definitely goes to Strong. Their team is doxed, and I can go look at their LinkedIn backgrounds and see what they've done in the past. And a lot of them have really strong backgrounds. I mean, here's the CEO, David Moss from Thor. We can see what he's done. He founded this 3.5 years ago. Before that, he was working at Block One, which we know to be a blockchain investment firm and accelerator. And he's been in a technical role as a CTO in a leadership role for a long time. Seems to know his stuff when it comes to both leadership and building complex tech products. On the other hand, no one from the Thor team is doxed yet. Their community manager, Loki, has gone through a KYC process, and they do plan to reveal his identity. I believe his first name is Colin, but he's going to be revealed apparently at some point, which will give a little more assurance to the project, because the more people's identity is tied to a project, the less likely they are to try to run away with your money. But again, we don't really know the extent of the Thor team's experience. In this case, when we look at the teams themselves on paper, we have to give the check mark to Strong. Let's talk about their roadmap and communication. Strong has a history of delivering on their roadmap, just not quite as fast as they've said they would. They delivered on their NFTs like they said they would, but they still haven't delivered on their taper schedule for Polygon nodes, which is something they've been promising for, I think, more than a month now. And while David Moss does have a lot of great leadership experience, he tends to give some abstract answers that are a little bit fluffy. And there's one thing in particular that I haven't really liked that he's done. And that's when people bring up Thor to him in AMAs or in the Discord. He doesn't really give them any credence, and he's kind of disrespectful. We can see here someone saying Thor compared themselves to Strong and asking a question about it. And his response was, Thor, Thor, Thor. I loved Chris Hemsworth as Thor in the Marvel comic books. Again, we don't do deep dives on imitators. If there's a promising sustainable innovation we see from one of them, we'll consider it. We're just too busy innovating StrongBlock and StrongChain. And this isn't the only time he responded like that. Someone else asked about Thor reaching out directly to Strong, and he kind of just mocked them. Oh my God, do you work for Thor? Are you Chris Hemsworth? So good to meet you. Seriously, is this now the Thor AMA? They've not reached out directly for me. Do you work for Thor? What purpose would a partnership provide to the StrongBlock community? Listen, I get it. I've been in the corporate world. I've been in the startup community. I've built stuff myself. There are 1,000 memes and LinkedIn quotes out there about focusing on yourself and not your competition. But as someone that's been an operator as an executive at a startup, at a growing company, I don't think it's a great look to just on your competition like that. Thor obviously has some respect from the community. Otherwise, people wouldn't be bringing it up. It's almost disrespectful to your own community to just disregard the things that they're saying about Thor. So I'm not sure if this is being petty or exactly what his end game is or his strategy is behind these responses. But in the future, I would like him to take these comments a little more seriously and give it a little bit more respect. Even just something like, hey, we really respect what the team over at Thor is doing. Obviously, we were first to market with this concept. We know that they're doing some good stuff. We're going to keep an eye on them, but for the most part, we're just focused on ourselves. To me, this is a much better answer than just trying to mock the people that are asking questions about this. On the other hand, the Thor financial team has definitely made a couple mistakes. However, they've been super candid and honest throughout the entire process. They talk about their reverence for Strong. They talk about everything that they're doing, and when they don't hit a deadline for something that's on their roadmap, they tell you why they haven't hit it and when they expect to hit it, or when you should expect the next update. The founding team is also much more active in the Discord, it seems, and particularly they seem to be documenting things with more medium updates than the Strong team. And the reason I think this is so important is because at the end of the day, a strong community will really help carry a project. And while the Strong community is bigger and has been around a lot longer than Thor, I do believe that the Thor team, despite some of their missteps and despite the price dropping a lot recently, they've built a lot of relationship equity with their community because people truly believe that they're trying to do the right thing because they are so honest and so open and so available all the time. Loki did like a 4-hour AMA a few weeks ago. That's insane. So when it comes to roadmap delivery and communication, this check mark goes to Thor. Let's talk about my strategy moving forward. Honestly, building out these spreadsheets was super helpful for me and a little bit sobering. The more that you compound, the more that you have to rely on the underlying token price and the less cash flow you have. And right now, my goal is cash flow. So compounding for a year straight may seem pretty cool because all of the marketing behind these big APYs. But for me, I'm not sure that's the right move. That said, the prices for both these projects are pretty low, especially off their all-time highs right now. So now could be a good time for me to dollar cost average in some additional tokens and eventually buy another node or two for each project. Then I'll be able to collect my rewards a little bit faster, even though I haven't compounded them, and I should be able to recoup some of my investment faster. Either way, I plan to create a claiming schedule that will allow me to feel confident about starting to claim some of my rewards back over the coming weeks and months. Overall, whichever one of these projects, if you choose to invest in either of them, I think you have a good chance of being successful. However, you should really think about the things that you care about the most. Is it just the reward structure? Is it the experience of their team? Is it their roadmap and their communication style? Only you can decide what's best for you. And again, nothing I say here is financial advice. This is just what I'm doing and what I'm seeing in the market. Please always do your own research. If you had a good time here today or you learned something, please hit that like button so other people can see this video more easily and everyone else can learn as well. And if you like the way I teach, you like the way I break things down, or you just want to follow along my journey, then hit that subscribe button. That's it for this video. I wish you nothing but health, wealth, and lots of learning. I'll see you on the next one.